Wilder Fury ends in a draw. Welcome back to KangBrosTV. If you saw, our Instagram was popping off because we were vexed. Now, I think the whole boxing public, the fans, I think they all agree. There's no disagreeing here. It's all one-sided. Everyone said that Tyson Fury won that fight. Now, I've been a doubter of Tyson Fury. He's won me over completely. You have been a Fury fan for a long time, so I'll let you have this.
No, I will. I'll have my piece in a minute. But before we go any further, I want you to now. I want to hear you say what you think first, because what I've been saying for however long, for many years, about Tyson Fury, he's elusive, he's a good fighter. All those stuff that I've been saying, he's a great counter puncher. He's hard to hit. I want you to tell me that I'm right, bro. I want you to put it out there. I want you to define.
I just said that I was a Fury doubter. Now, he's proved me wrong. From this performance today, that was an amazing performance. The way he went, I didn't think that he could do it for the whole 12 rounds. But then he made Wilder look like a complete amateur. He made it look like a complete amateur.
So what I'm saying to you is, you know, all the times that we spoke about Fury, and I've been saying to you all the stuff that he does, all the things that he does, and you're like, nah, not having it. He's been doing all these things that he's done, proved in that fight. He's been doing that for the past few fights, right?
No, he hasn't been doing it for the past few fights. Those big fights against Klitschko, he was amazing. The other two fights before this have been dull and boring. But he's upped his level for the big fights.
Dull and boring.
Yeah.
Okay, dull and boring. He was in there to be got at in those dull and boring tune-up fights. Yeah, and I made this point very clear. He was still obviously massively overweight in his last two fights, right? And he still stayed true to what he's good at, to hit and not get hit. Tune-up fights. You've seen tune-up fights for other fighters. The other fighters, the so-called Amir Khans as well, who take tune-up fights, who have been useless in their tune-up fights because they're getting caught, they're getting put down. This guy didn't get touched in the tune-up fights because that's a tune-up fight. That's what he does. So he tuned up in what he's good at. I'm telling you now, I've said this for a long time, and it annoys me because I get everybody giving me grief for it as well. From all, not obviously, don't get me wrong, I'm happy for it, it's not a problem. But people telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to boxing. I'm like, yo, Tyson, I called this from time back. This guy's been 3 years out, right? 3 years out to come back from a camp after everything that he's gone through. Hats off to him for that. But to come back and put in a performance like that, you must be, imagine if he hadn't had that time off. Don't get me wrong, I know it's his own issues and everything like that, and he's had to go through a lot. But if he hadn't had that time off, where would he be now? Unify the division by now.
You mentioned that. I want to say a massive shout out to Fury in terms of, you know, that you talk about what he's gone through, all the mental stuff, the depression. This just proves to you that how powerful the mind can be. That you can achieve anything. People go out there, we talk about this all the time, about people talk about depression, all this kind of stuff. Your mind is so powerful, you can achieve everything.
And Tyson Fury gave an interview saying, I've done this for all the people suffering from mental health problems. He's waving, he's like, you know, the flag bearer for it, to say, look, I've done it, I've been to the lowest as you can be. And you saw the size of him. Listen, I know that I'm no waxwork, yeah? I am not saying that. But what I will say to you is he was big. You know, for people who... So people, you know, some man who like to eat. Imagine how much you must have to eat, bro, for a guy of 6'9" to look like that. Do you know what I mean? He's 6'9". You know the bigger guys, it's harder, you know, sometimes it's slightly harder for them to look big because there's so much place to do, you know, to proportion it out. But he was big.
Going on to the fight, right? When we were talking about predictions, I always said that Fury was the better boxer than Wilder. And I always said that if Wilder wins, it will be the knockout. And that's what he kept looking for. But the way he made Wilder look so shit, it has to be discussed. My man had no jab. How can you come to a fight of this nature and you ain't got a jab, bro?
But he's not, listen, the thing is, people, again, it made me laugh. A lot of people said, oh yeah, you know, he'll work off the jab. Deontay Wilder he's not renowned for having an amazing jab, right? He's not renowned for it.
There was no jab, bro.
But he couldn't. He couldn't.
No. Look, there's one thing he couldn't, but you must have a jab to set yourself up. Do you know what I mean?
Harry, when people talked about the Klitschko fight, and again, another thing that pisses me off, a lot of people was like, nah, Klitschko just didn't do enough. He just didn't do enough. Listen, Klitschko's a world champion, right? He's a Hall of Famer. Great. He's a great. Yeah, he's, you know, one of the guys, you would never see him again, right? You tell me he's had 11 years at the top as a champion, and one night, do you know what? I don't fancy it. Nah. I'm not gonna bother going to work tonight because That's all he knows. That's all he does. He couldn't get him because Tyson Fury's got a stance. He's 6'9", right? If you look at his movement, there's a lot of movement. It's all up top. It's up top movement. He doesn't overexert himself. You don't see him running around the ring. He doesn't have to. Because for someone like that, and that's why I say he's elusive, is because he's so big, right? Try and cut off that gap between him and his opponent. To cut off that gap, you have to beat his stance. He's got 2 tree trunks for legs, right? And he sits back. So his front leg is where he gets all his leverage from. And he sits back and he's sitting back and he's slipping shots. You have to throw a double jab to break that gap.
We're getting close.
Yeah. So to the first jab is to cut that first gap. The second jab has got to be to take the shot. But he's so slick as a boxer, and this is what I've been saying for so long. Double jab does nothing for him because you throw the first one to get in range to throw the second jab to actually make contact. He slipped your shot and he's done his work and he's out.
Yeah, Wilder was bamboozled. He didn't know when to step forward, didn't know when to step back. He was just waiting. It was like, and people saying, "What is this guy doing?" It's like you said, he was completely bamboozled. He didn't get any ideas of how to even get close to the guy, and he was too scared because when he did get hit,
he felt it.
You felt it. You see his legs. You go straight through his legs, and he felt it. He's like, "Whoa, this guy can hit."
We spoke yesterday. Before the fight, me and him sat here having a cup of tea. We were talking about the fight, and he said to me, he goes, "What do you reckon? Are you nervous?" And I said, "You know what?" I goes, "There's one thing that's actually only hit me on the morning of the fight," and I thought, "You know what? Peter Fury isn't going to be there." I said that was something that worried me because I thought, I don't, a lot of it. The game plan was talked through with him in the corner, but then obviously, like you said, Freddie Roach was there and so on and so forth. But that was the only thing I was worried about. And I did say the championship rounds was when I thought he could get clocked. And in my defence, blowing my trumpet a little bit, he went down in the championship rounds because those are the times when concentration and everything gets the better of you. But how can somebody go down? Yeah, and that knockdown. Oh my lordy lord, that knockdown. As soon as you saw it, I just went, "Oh, shoulda, woulda, Honda." I thought, that's it, it's done.
If you're an atheist here and you don't believe in God, that's right there. Go watch that fight and what happened to Fury, bro. That's Jesus. That's Allah's Waheguru just coming through there because he was gone. He was gone, bro. That's just the Lord taking over. He didn't know what was going on.
Do you know,
I thought it was a wrap.
One of my friends messaged me today. He goes, it was like he was lying there after a night being pissed up, right? And he woke up late and he could hear his missus calling him. You know when you mean, oh shit, I better get up. That's what it was like, bruv. Oh, I'm out. I'm leaving me be, bruv. All of a sudden he heard something. He thought, shit, I better get up. Listen, what I'm saying, that for me proves to me why he's the best heavyweight, bar none. To go down, everyone talks about Deontay Wilder possessing this amazing punching power. I watched a little video clip of all the American boxers talking about who they're going to win out of these 2 fights. Everyone. Deontay, my brother Deontay this, Deontay that. Why? Because he goes, he's got this amazing punching power. Keith Thurman, he's the best puncher, one punch, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. There's your one punch. Make you down, make you go up. Now, if you even Deontay Wilder's face when he's giving it all that one, blowing, they're all saying that, oh,
It was all about his face when he saw him get up. When you see him get up, it just suddenly just changed just like that. And the thing is, I want to give full credit, to the referee, bruv.
Yeah. Because
if he waved that off and he started pulling his gum shield out, no one would have said nothing. Else, you know what? That was a heavy knockdown. The referee was the right decision. If he didn't do that, that fight wouldn't have ended how it was. Because everyone thought it was game over. So I'll give full credit to the referee. And then all this bullshit about, it was a long count. Not even. I've seen it enough times. He was up by number 7. And then to even prove it, my man did a 2-step and came back to show that his fee was fine, bruv. So hats off to the referee for that. Because that was a heavy knockdown.
And I've said it a number of times before that referees, everyone's quick to have a go at referees. I thought the referee yesterday was very good. I thought the way he handled the fight was good, and I thought it was probably one of the smooth. When you don't notice referees, when you know that he's been brilliant, and I think that was for me was good. And the only time you did notice him was for him doing something as good as that yesterday, which was to give Matey get every opportunity to continue. So,
I mean, I hate to get to this point, but people said boxing won last night. Yeah, no, it didn't, bro. This is what is disgraceful about boxing. We've been watching boxing for a long, long, long time. And I think we've got this platform. And I think as boxing fans, we have to do something now, because this is getting beyond a joke. It's getting beyond a joke, bruv. Alejandro, whatever his name is, Roshin, bruv, needs to be put on blast, bruv. Just like referees are put on blast for football decisions, he needs to be put on blast for his decision. Because this is disgrace. How can you give it 115, 111 to Wilder? How? How is he giving that, bruv? That means that he's still winning even without the knockdowns.
Listen, so this is something that I've been obviously the Golovkin and Triple G situation was something we disagreed about, and there's been split about that. Okay, but I am sorry, yeah, and I'm sorry if people think I'm being negative or anything like that. I am sorry if you believe that, yeah. But this is how I feel. In a time where the sport of boxing is thriving, we've got some of the best athletes, boxers in the world. They're all going at it. They're all fighting each other, right? The boxing is thriving, right? Now, I know that these boxers, they put themselves through a lot, right? For the entertainment purposes for us as fans, and we love it. It's great. They put their lives on the line, so they deserve to be paid. I don't deny that. I don't deny that one bit. But to turn around and say the sport of boxing is winning, no, it's not. It's losing. Because people like the boxing fans now, if there was a neutral watching that fight yesterday, a non-boxing fan who watched it because of all the hype, they would have jumped in all the hype and they would have watched that fight. They're going to turn around and be like, well, hold on a minute. Well, why the hell am I going to wait up till this time in the UK hours to watch a fight, which is a good fight, for a draw? Huh? Is that cricket? You know, people watch cricket, they like test cricket. Why would you play 5 days and then have a draw? And everyone guns that for cricket for that reason. I get it. It's tough to take. How are you going to take this? And that's not even a draw. It's disgraceful. And the thing is, the house always wins. I've said this a number of times. The house always wins. Yeah. In the States, everyone talks about the States being the mecca of boxing. Bullshit. Because you go there and you're not part of the house. You're gonna lose your belts, bruv. Pac-Man against Timothy Bradley. Bradley was in the States. That was one of the worst decisions I've seen in a long time. And they gave him the decision. Pacquiao, being the humble man that he is, well, it is what it is. Triple G and Canelo. Triple G and, Alvarez, right? Those two fights. One, you can pick whichever one you want. We've talked about this on a number of times. We've argued about this so many times. Both fights. If Triple G loses the first fight because he wasn't active enough, right? And vice versa, second fight, Canelo took the middle of the ring or whatever. One of those fights then should have gone to Triple G then. On whatever basis you want to look at it. One of those fights should have gone to Triple G. Fact. It didn't. Why is that? Because the house always wins. Alvarez is the biggest catch for the United States fans because of the Mexican connection. He won. You keep that. You keep it in the house. The house wins. Deontay Wilder is the American heavyweight champion. The heavyweight is deemed as the most glittered division, as always historically has been. He should not have won that fight yesterday. Even Wilder, everyone could see it. Even he was like, "Yeah, I won the fight. Yeah, I did win the fight because I'd knocked him down twice. Should I say that?" He knew it. After the fight, Fury was celebrating. Wilder went to his corner dejected because he knew that I'm struggling. And I would love it if people go back and watch the footage again, and you watch Lou DiBella go up to Tyson Fury. As soon as the bell went, he went, "Yeah, you got it. You done it." Right? And you can see that clearly. I'm sorry, house always wins. The judging and you want Anthony Joshua to go fight in the States.
Never been.
This
is exactly why. This is exactly why. He's got all the belts. Why should he go to the States and be exposed to this bullshit? That's what it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. But the thing is, what I want to push on to is, what is the solution? You can't carry on doing this. For me, it's like you either have 5 judges around the ring. You pick the 3 of the best of those cards, which correlate with each other. If you got 2 guys who are way off it, you say, nah, that's getting ripped up. It's got to be a solution. Or get ex-boxers or something to judge the fight. You got people judging the fight who don't have a Scooby about boxing.
The other thing is, the only other thing for me is everything else is going down this route, right? You know, artificial intelligence and all that sort of stuff. If there's corruption within boxing, which I believe that there is in some of these judges, because it's funnily enough the promoters are the ones that choose these judges, and that for me is ridiculous in itself. But something needs to give, something needs to happen, because this can't keep happening. People pay good money to fly out to the States to watch these fights. People pay good money. These boxers put themselves through hell for these fights. Let's be honest, Tyson Fury, that shot that he took in the last round, those double shots that he took, there's people that would be seriously bad condition after that. And then to get up and then to think to yourself, you know what, I've just lost this fight. I've drawn this fight. It's mental. It's ridiculous. And I'm sorry if people think that I'm bitching and moaning about American boxing. All I'm saying is that it's not a level playing field. If that happened to an American fighter, I'm sorry, it will be outrage. It will be an absolute outrage. If you're going to go from abroad to go to the States to fight, then you better tell yourself, I better be knocking him out. Otherwise, it's a wrap.
So WBC messaged us directly on Instagram, and they said the draw was a fair result. Now, I will show this. I'll post it on Instagram, and this is what WB said. So, are you willing to accept that this possibly could have been a draw because of the 2 knockdowns, which obviously 10-8 rounds, and you could maybe have given one of the 2 at the beginning of the rounds to Wilder because not a lot was going on? are you willing to accept that it could possibly be a draw? Because I can see that. I can see that argument, but I cannot see a 115, 111.
That's what I'm trying to say. But that's what I'm saying.
Could you possibly accept? Could you possibly accept a draw?
If someone said to me it's a draw, I would blindly. I'd be like, no, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. It's not a draw, right? I'd say, watch the fight again. Rescore it then, right? Rescore it, whatever. It's not a draw for me, right? It's not a draw, but that's my opinion, right? That's just my personal opinion. It's not a draw. The reason I'm willing to be flexible and that is the fact that I didn't think the Triple G and Canelo fight was a Canelo win, but I had to accept that that's what other people saw, right? So if other people are willing to accept that, then fine, maybe I'm seeing something wrong, right?
No one is seeing that.
But no one's seeing it, and that's what I'm getting to. With the Triple G situation, there's for and against, right? But this situation, I'm sorry, I've never seen something so one-sided in my life. That was a shutout. It was a shutout. Deontay Wilder should have been taking points off for how bad he was, for the amount of times he missed. You should be taking points off of him for that. So I'm sorry, and I know it sounds like I'm ranting and I'm vexed, but I am, because a guy to go through what he's gone through, to come here and be the guy to beat Klitschko, right? So he's the guy that beat the guy. He would have been, again, the guy to beat the guy. Now, Tyson Fury, who was an absolute boss yesterday, boxing lesson, right? It was a lesson in boxing for a guy that's been for so long, he's not in impeccable shape. He put on a lesson. He is now potentially about to go into to boxing oblivion, right? Do you know what Dillian White was in when no one wants to fight you because they ain't got to fight you? Anthony Joshua probably like that, bruv.
So the next question, right, is, do you see this rematch happening? Because I don't. Why would Wilder want to risk getting into another fight like that and losing that big money payday, yeah, with Joshua, bro?
100%, and this is exactly my next point was going to be to you. I was going to ask you, I said, well, I'll stop you right there in your tracks and I'll ask you, if you were Wilder now, yo, basically, you don't have to have this rematch because, you know, the clause says that only you get the rematch. You know, do you want it?
Never been.
No.
He doesn't want to risk that because he's taken two big risks now, and he thought he could overcome them both, right? And now they asked him, they go, do you want to fight? Do you want to do this rematch? He's like, well, it might not be the next rematch because why? He wants to make sure he can cement that Joshua fight, get the big payday, and he knows that this fight will always remain if he needs to take that fight if he wants. But he don't want none of that. He don't want none of that smoke. And like you said, even when you ask Wilder, how do you think he won? It doesn't even sound convincing.
And it doesn't make sense in what he's saying. You know, I had 2 knockdowns. That's 10-8s. There's a whole fight outside of that. And he lost every one of those. And the funny thing is, Fury got up after knockdowns both times and then started putting it on him.
And that's what I'm saying. He can hit. Even like for me, like I said, I've always been a Fury doubter. He proved that he got a chin. I was always skeptical about his chin. He proved that he's got a chin. And then he can prove that he can bang. And Wilder's never been that rock before. He's taken shots from Ortiz. Do you know what I mean? And he was all over the place.
The other thing was, if people realised that Tyson Fury's game plan yesterday was so brilliant, right? Obviously, slip shots, evading, get my work done. And then whenever he throws his big bombs that he's known for, Wilder, evade, because he's so good enough, and then just put loads of weight on him. Just weigh him down. He was tired. He couldn't back a shot. His
whole face was all bust up, and you don't normally see that with Wilder.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, as I said, that's a disgrace. Yesterday, that's a disgrace, and I said it yesterday. I'm done with boxing for a little while. I need time off.
I need a break, bro.
I need a break because I can't keep. I get so emotionally involved in this shit because we love it. We all love it. We just love it, and then you watch stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not in the ring getting my face bashed in, but all I'm saying is for people out there who watch boxing like us, we love it. We can't get enough of it. And when the stuff like this happens, you think there is no justice, is there? There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do to a man like, oh well, can we have that same fight reviewed? No, once it's done, it's done.
So let's wrap this video up, right? So 2 things I want to just touch base on is that you mentioned about this whole coverage being on BT Sport and Sky Sports. So what was your take on this experience, should I say?
I'm sorry, there's a reason why Eddie Hearn's a boss. Yeah, Eddie Hearn is a boss. And I don't say this, I think Eddie Hearn's brilliant, but a lot of people don't like Eddie Hearn. You say what you want about Eddie Hearn. That production yesterday, right? Eddie Hearn would have had that on lock, would have had it tied up, concise, better. The weigh-in, shambles. The disconnect between the sound and everything. They've got the guys doing the coverage sitting next to a speaker. Come on now.
But do you know what I mean? Eddie Hearn must be burning though. Come on. because that was a big event. The whole world was talking about it. The whole build-up, everything about the whole event itself and what happened. He must have been thinking, I want to be a part of that, right?
Sure, but the one thing I will say is also, going back to the point, is that everybody else now needs to understand how good Eddie Hearn is, right? And how much of a boss Eddie Hearn is. All this bullshit you hear about Deontay Wilder saying, I want the fight, they're not responding back to this, There's a reason why. And it's last night, as a prime example. Frank Warren, right? And I know everyone tells him about Tyson Fury, he don't care, he'll go and fight anyone in their backyard. More because he ain't got no choice. Tyson Fury was in a situation where he doesn't really have a choice. Anthony Joshua is the trump card. He's the prize fighter, and the prize fight is him, right? He's the prize. You fight Joshua, you're made, right? Now, why is he going to take his belts to the States to come up with some bullshit decision like that?
Shit, bro.
You can't, and he doesn't have to. He'll make more money fighting in the UK, right? And I will. If anybody disagrees with me on that fact, I think you're wrong, and I'll stand by that. I'm happy to be corrected on most things, but you're wrong otherwise. Anthony Joshua goes out there as a sitting duck. Sitting duck. You're going to get a controversial decision and he loses his belts. Then what? Everyone turns around and says, oh, well, there's nothing you can do now. Maybe have a rematch. Well, then all of a sudden that rematch has to take place in their States again because then he becomes the A-side. No, I'm sorry, Eddie Hearn, respect, big up, because the thing is, listen, these guys put their lives into boxing, and to get shocking decisions like that, nah, not for me. Eddie Hearn, respect.
So last question is, what happens in April? What fight do you think happens in April, and what happens next for the likes of Fury and the trio, and even Dylan White in that mix, if I guess. But what do you think happens in April?
Well,
realistically,
there's no way that Deontay Wilder can start calling out Anthony Joshua next.
Okay,
he can't. He just can't because because everyone's going to be like, well, hold on a minute. You didn't even beat me.
But would you complain if it get made? I won't.
I wouldn't complain. Of course, I wouldn't complain. I would love to see the fight.
That, yeah,
you'd forget about it. And I think half of me would be. I feel even more sorry for Tyson Fury because it's a bit like, well, I mean, I know Tyson Fury doesn't want sympathy from anybody. He's not that sort of person. Everyone knows that. But it's just a fact that Tyson Fury should have that belt. That should be the belt here. All belts should be this side of the pond. And then you've got a mega showdown, right? Two personalities, two unbelievably good boxers, which I think Tyson Fury wins. I'm sorry, Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight out there, and he's the one that's walked from this whole situation. He don't have a belt. Yeah, some people say it was his own fault for certain things. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But it should be the belts. It should be with him in April. My personal feeling is that I think Deontay Wilder has shot himself in the foot. He will not get that fight with Joshua in April. Dillian White, I think, will beat Chisora. That would be a good fight, but I think Dillian White will win that fight, and then he will have a chance against Anthony Joshua in April. And on Dillian White's perspective, fully deserved, because he is someone who's taken the hard route. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
So you mentioned about Tyson Fury beating AJ. What about your opinion now on AJ and Wilder? Because for me, after watching that performance, I used to think that it could be whoever gets hit first and see what happens. But now I'm almost 70-30 towards AJ. After seeing that performance and what he had in his locker in terms of boxing skills, it was pathetic, bro. So for me, I'm swaying more towards AJ if that fight ever was to happen.
I'm probably 55-45 to AJ.
Okay.
After watching last night and that last round, because I thought those shots that Fury took and got up from, I don't see Joshua getting up from that. That's the thing that I would say. And after watching some of Joshua's last few performances, I've not been as impressed as I have been. I know he'll be a completely different beast for that fight against Wilder. But the only thing I would say is that people need to understand that Deontay Wilder is not what everyone said that he is. He's this amazing fighter or whatever. Tyson Fury, who's a boxer, who's a proper boxer, made him look like an absolute idiot yesterday. He made him look like an idiot.
100.
So that's my thing. There's one thing I want to say is Adonis Stevenson yesterday got beat, got knocked down, and is in a critical condition. Thoughts are with Adonis Stevenson and his family. I hope that he's okay. Obviously, he's been a great servant to boxing and champion for such a long time. So all the best with that, and I hope you get well soon.
And to all the viewers, get involved. You talked about so many topics in this video because it'll be like we said, we were vexed. So I mean, if you disagree with some of the stuff, let us know because we want to hear what other viewers think, and we want to change this whole bullshit about judges speaking every time because, like we said, we need a break from it. It's getting so frustrating. I think some of you would share that as well. So until the next one, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.